trading now. Any trades that all the trades that I'm doing well on my accounts with posting.
People don't want to watch that.
All right, guys. So welcome to the live. Let's go again. Let's take a look at what we've got going on. Let's pull this up. All right, guys. So welcome to the live analysis session. I know it's a Monday and you're not really prone to trade on a Monday, neither am I. I might take a small test position just to test out things, but Monday's a good day to just observe. So from the analysis last week, let's go over to see what we had on the hourly here. Now, if I go over to the hourly here, so welcome to the live. Now, if you're hearing me twice over, let me just get this away. All right, so taking a look at what we've got here, now, it'd be a little bit more difficult to see if you don't zoom in here, so I'm going to zoom in. Now, this is the low from Thursday's price action, and we had this strong shoot up for the long. Now, the prices was really ranging between the last couple of days that we've had from last week, Monday till now. Now, on Friday, the price came for the low during the London session of, well, it says the London session here, but it was a bit later than that. But the price took the low of the previous day here, and it sprung off for a long, which was a perfect move. Now, looking at the structure of the price, if I go to the daily time frame, the D1, I told you guys earlier on that the structure of the price that we have here, the body of the candles were edging towards the edge of this supply order block, which was giving me the signal that price would want to push it a little bit higher. Now, we've had one of the situations where the price does a major move on Friday and then continues that move, you know, over the weekend into Monday in the same direction. Because you had the first bullish movement here, and today we've had that continuation of that. If I go to the weekly here, what are some of the targets we could expect? Like I said last week, we have unfulfilled efficiency of this swing high here. The price didn't return back into this supply order block when it spiked here. It came close, but didn't actually enter into the order block. So I'm expecting the price to potentially give us a push back into this area. Now, the thing is, because there are equal highs over here, or relative equal highs that are about a pip apart, there's room to even go further and for price to push further long. Even back up, as I was saying to my WGA students today, at 106.190. Reason I'm saying that is because the next supply order block is a liquidity void here, and there's no return to supply to produce the push down. And then we have a smaller order block here, two sets of them, where this candle didn't return in here. So we don't have an official cycle of price action on the way down. Now, the barrier that's keeping the price from going to fill this liquidity void, which is pretty large, it goes all the way up to 110, is just this supply order block here, which at the time when the price started to shoot back up again in July, we had this movement. I was telling you guys that if price closes above here, then we're going for a long. But until it closes above, we shouldn't try to force a long. And I was right, because the price came tumbling straight back down. But because of the inefficiencies in the price delivery here, I do think that there is room for the price to go back up and long again. And if we ever get a weekly body close above this, then you know we're going for a crazy long to 110 and to the targets I always spoke about, which are higher. For me, if this happens, then that will be the final kind of like artificial dollar strengthening before the price starts tumbling down. But reality is here is that we know that we have a big move coming along pretty soon. Okay. Now, for the meantime, intraday and for today, it's pretty clear that the dollar is going to continue gaining strength. Now, I marked out this little area here, and it doesn't seem too clear what this is because the line is so thick. But if I take off this line and then go to the 15-minute here, just want to show you what I'm looking at here. The reason why I marked this line out here is because we have equal highs. So these equal highs, I'm expecting the price either today or tomorrow to take these equal highs and also take these equal highs. These are a little bit more difficult to see, but what we have here is that the open of this candle and the close of the bullish candle and the open of the bearish candle and the highs of these candles are the same. Okay, and if I hover over, you'll see over here that it says, if you look over here, when I'm going to hover whilst it happens, so you pay attention to these OHLC. If I hover over this, the open of the candle 102.764 is also the high. And if I go over to what we have here for the close, slightly different, but basically this is, you might as well just consider it the same price. On the bullish candle, the close 102.763 is only 1 pip away from the high. So it's represented as this bar shape over here. And this is not a very common thing to see, but yet we have that. So even these highs right here are in danger of being run. So I do expect the price to break above this high, probably in a very dramatic way. Now, there isn't any dramatic news this week, by the way, on the US dollar. I went through this earlier on today. This is why I have it here for you guys. The only high impact news for this week is the Bank of Canada's CPI, which could indirectly affect the US dollar's price. Wednesday, we don't really have major high impact news apart from retail sales, which I don't expect to really cause the price to move so much because in the order of high impact pieces of news, so interest rate decisions and stuff, this doesn't come up to be one of the highest. So I don't expect a crazy situation from it. On Thursday, we have the employment change and unemployment rate. And then on Friday over here, we have the Michigan consumer sentiment, which if it is bullish like this and getting over 70 is well in bullish territory, it might help to push the dollar a bit further stronger, but we'll see what will happen. But there isn't high impact news or extreme news for the price this week anyway. Okay, so seeing that, if I was to go back over to my MetaTrader 4 broker to have a look at what we've got going on, ideally, looking at the price actions that we have, sorry about that. We looked at AUD/USD, and I did say, guys, that I'm looking for a short to come through. And the basis of that was looking at the way the price was behaving here. Now, I'm a little bit gutted, and I explained to you why. The price did hang around for a while, and when it did hang around, I thought that the price would come for these equal highs. We looked at these before, but both of these highs are at 0.67364. Now, some other brokers read this as one as 633 or 0.67363 and 364, respectively for the first and the second high. And then others read it as equal highs. And so when the price came here the first time and dropped near the weekly low, I was expecting it to kind of reach up a bit higher and actually take these highs, but it failed to do so. And it's still pushing short like expecting. Now, the way it did happen was, of course, very different from what I wanted to happen. I mean, the H1 area that we had here got completely destroyed. The price broke beneath it, so it looked good, and then it broke straight back above it and took the high of the previous day instead on Friday. So these are one of those moves where if you took it on Friday, if you're brave enough to swing until this day as well, then you would have been laughing. You know, personally for me, that's not my favorite type of moves, but they do happen anyway. I don't really like to hold over the weekend on a Friday. I like to be out, to be fair, and just clear my positions and come back later on. But yeah, it is continuing short. Um, with other US dollar pairs, you can see they're all pushing towards this bearish movement here. For US dollar pairs where the dollar is the quote currency or paired against, or the base currency is paired against the dollar. AUD/USD, NZD/USD, all the same, Euro/USD. But I want you to notice this ranging pattern that they all seem to have. And they have all of these similar shapes here. Now, for me, the expectation is that the price should continue to drop down. And even with something like Euro/USD, we might even be lucky to get the price filling the liquidity void and dropping down here. But we'll see. I mean, USD/JPY, on the other hand, pushing long, and USD CAD's pushing long also. Continuing on from Friday's move where it took this low right here. But for me, again, I think that the main thing is that in this season of time, beginning of the year, where to me, I have looked at other cross pairs and they're not as lively, or if they are lively, the price action isn't the greatest, or for some, it's just completely flat and full of wicks. I would say that the wisest thing to do right now, guys, as my advice, is to stick to major pairs and stick to US dollar based pairs. Because in this current market, it's not 100% clear everything that's going on. This year is one of those years which is a heavy political year. What do I mean by that? We have the US elections this year. Okay, the process of the US elections this year. And because of everything that happened in 2020 with the US elections, of course, this year is going to be a year of very interesting market price action because it's political, it's government, governmental stuff, there's economical, all mixed in together. And the dollar being the country that contains the current world reserve currency is going to affect the market pretty strongly. So I would say that the best place to be in right now for volatility and also to have the best chance of having accurate analysis is definitely looking at the major pairs and gold included, because currently we have a clear US dollar correlation. The dollar's gaining strength, so all of the pairs that are paired against the dollar are pushing short, whilst the opposites, USD CHF, USD JPY, USD CAD, they're all going long, which is a perfect scenario. On top of that, because cross pairs, if we want to find out more information about accuracy and information in terms of what to do when it comes to looking at analysis, we don't have that with cross pairs, but we do with major pairs because we have the dollar index, which we can do intra-market studies on and be able to glean more information to know what we're doing. So if you notice, we're looking at the dollar index has been helpful to figure out these kind of moves that would happen. Now, of course, even with USD CAD, the way it moved, you would have had to still analyze and be on your toes. But the general direction to help, solidify the trend direction we're looking at or which way to go was definitely influenced and added on here. So for now, I wouldn't say I have a trade to give you guys. I think the smartest thing to do right now is I've got this NZD/USD trade, which I was going to tell you about really quick, that I've got on. I'm just kind of testing the waters in the market here. The low of the previous week has been broken beneath. I still don't like the way the market opened. I do think it's pretty gappy. These highs are very equal. We have a liquidity gap here. So I don't know how the market is going to play this game of going short, if it's just going to ignore all of this and keep on going until maybe back down here or something. So something like on the lines of this. So then once that's done over here, then maybe, we can, let's just go down here. If the price drops here without breaking this area, that will be a great scalp. But of course, there's going to be other options that the price will offer. For now, I'm just going to kind of play with my options and see what we have. this is just a test trade to see what's gonna happen. This is not really like a heavy trade. All I really do want to see is how the price interacts with this weekly low. But again, I do think NZUSD is prime for a short, looking at the dollar index also, like we spoke about last week. Now, the other way to get into this is right now the price is closed right near the edge of this H4 order block. So I know that it's ready to break soon. But when the body of the candle does close, because I'm confident to say it will do, on the return right here would be where we could look for our trade to get back in. And if the price does break beneath and then pull back a bit deeper, we can get a nice trade from here down to this point at least. And depending on the dollar index's strength, we may even see some further movement because there are more lows to take and more liquidity voids to fill. But it really is dependent on what the price is offering. Okay. Equally, because of where the price is and that this is the low of last month, it'll be interesting to see if the price will offer that to us, that low of last month at least, and then maybe taper off a bit. Okay, so again, NZUSD and ADUSD to me, I feel like they're still the most simple to trade. On my charts here, ADUSD is actually already broken this H4 area. Okay, now the price actually doesn't look so great, but what we've had here is prices kind of bounced around with a small bit of directionality towards the bearish side, but it's still a range. Broken down, returned here. We had this spike. Unfortunately, it didn't take the equal highs and it's dropped back down again. And you can see here that it's starting to dislodge away from this H4 area. If it does, if it breaks past the low with ease, then this is also going to push short as well. And there's about 80 pips as a drop. Okay. So coming to 3 o'clock and then 4 o'clock, which is going to be the London benchmark time, where pricing is done for different assets. We might get some sort of fast moves and then the price will reverse, but there is good opportunities for a kind of mid-term scalp. Just going to depend on what happens here. So that's all I can give you advice. Unless you have other pairs for me to look at, guys, reality is I'm just going to focus on looking at the main pairs, the major pairs, which is going to be the dollar index, AUD/USD, CHF, all the rest, and nothing else really. Okay, guys. So I'll catch up with you guys later on. Everybody take care and have a great day.